Hello and welcome. Today I'm adding Lunar Jetman from the Rare Collection 1 to my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever. Originally released for the ZX Spectrum in 1983 by Ultimate Play the Game, which is the company that went on to become Rare. Yeah, I'm sure you know all that by this time. Lunar Jetman is the sequel to Jetpack, but Rare decided to expand the concept and make a larger, more complex and in-depth game. But did it work? This is a game that I never played back in the day, but I was aware of it and I really wanted to get hold of it. I was a huge fan of Jetpack. It was one of the first Spectrum games I played and one of my favourites. I'd seen pictures in magazines, I was interested in the game, but I could never find it on sale anywhere. And it wasn't until Rare Replay came out and I played it on that and gave it about 30 seconds. I thought, well, I dodged a bullet. So it's taken me a little while to get round to actually put any serious time into this game, because every time I played it I've died quickly and thought, I can't be bothered with this, and so right off the bat this doesn't seem all that positive, does it? There is a story here, rough. Basically after the events of Jetpack, Jetman's cobbled together rocket started to pack up, ended up crash landing on a moon or something or other, close enough, I can't recall the rest of it. Anyway, let's get into the game itself, starting with the
graphics.
I mean, it is a ZX Spectrum game and a fairly early one. So it's got the usual bright, high contrast colours, it has the colour clash, and everything looks pretty clean but simple. Largely, it looks a lot like the original Jetpack, which makes sense really. The moon rover buggy thing is well rendered, and it looks okay for an early Spectrum game.
Sound.
It also sounds like an early Spectrum game with high-pitched beeps and things and sort of crunchy sounds. I mean, it's not terrible sounding as such, but that era of the Spectrum wasn't really known for its amazing sound effects.
Gameplay.
As I mentioned, it expands on the gameplay of Jetpack. The controls of your main Jetman itself are relatively similar. You have your jetpack to sort of, jet off into the air and fly around. You've got your shooting, which is a beam which goes across the screen, and that is largely the same. But you also have your buggy to contend with, items to pick up, and when Jetman is carrying an item and flying around with that, he is more sluggish. He's also very sluggish on the ground, and you need to spend a reasonable amount of time on the ground picking things up and moving things about to get into the buggy and what have you. And that makes sense. Being vulnerable at certain times when you're trying to do certain tasks makes perfect sense. When you're inside the moon rover, you can't be hurt, so it's a safe haven. But the moon rover, for whatever reason, seems a bit odd, can only go over flat surfaces, any form of crater, and it stops dead. Meaning you have to get out and repair the ground in front, in which you pick up an item from your buggy, drop it on the ground at the crater, fill in the gap, drive on. And this becomes part of the loop. Drive your buggy until you get to a massive pothole, repair it, move on. The problem is enemies come thick and fast and some fairly unpredictable movements. And the main gameplay loop is you locate the alien base, transport the bomb using a rover, get out of the rover, pick up the bomb, drop it on the base, rinse and repeat. You have a time limit, when that's expired, an enemy base fires out a rocket which you have to destroy. In theory it all should work quite well to make quite a tense strategic experience. But the enemies come too fast, and when Jetman gets hit, he goes flying to the ground and smashes into it, creating another crater. And if I really wanted to go around filling in massive potholes, I'd get a job working for the local council fixing the roads. The controls feel okay, but given the amount of quick reaction and precisions that are required, it does feel insufficient at times, or at least in regards to what the game asks of you.
Overall opinion.
Lunar Jetman is a sequel that tries to expand upon the original in interesting ways, and while I suppose it does achieve that, it loses the arcade immediacy or any sense of fun, becoming a bit of a frustrating mess. But I suppose it is a reflection and maybe an indicator of what Rare would become. Not when they became Rare, because they were Ultimate Play the Game at this point, but you know what I mean. It is difficult, slightly unusual, and damn annoying. And in many ways it feels like a game that could have been good and it had some interesting ideas, but it's bewildering that nowhere along the line of development no one turned around and said, hey, this just isn't fun. Although when discussing this on the Evercade Discord, someone did mention that they'd imagined that they had everything mapped out or planned out regarding the flying around, shooting enemies, bombing the base and getting out and driving the rover, and thought, hang on, this is cool and all, but it's way too easy. And they decided to add the pothole fixing and the damaging the ground after, just to make it more challenging. And I can sort of see things like that happening, along with adding the time limit and the missile being launched towards your rover, because that's an instant game over if it gets destroyed. Anyway, whatever the case is, the end result, in my opinion, wasn't much fun. I know it's a game that has some fans, and I suppose that's probably people who had it back in the day and spent years mastering it, or not years, but spent a lot of time mastering it, finally getting good, and that satisfaction of getting good at it was maybe enough to enjoy it. And hey, it was a different time back then. I mean, people often say nostalgia is a powerful drug, but in this case it doesn't have that kind of power on me.
Ranking.
Placing Lunar Jetman on my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever, I've elected to put it above Desert Falcon for the 2600, but below Dragon Master, placing it at 398 out of 457 games that I've ranked so far. Anyway, that's everything for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.